All right, so let's start here. A couple weeks ago, Jovenel Moïse had a press conference. It was one of the few calm days that Haiti had in a while. And it was calm because the opposition was using those 2 days to remember the dead. The numbers of the dead in the protests had risen into the mid to high 20s. There were some very important losses um, in the opposition, and they were going to use Tuesday to remember, and there were some funerals for Wednesday. So Jovenel Moïse came out of hiding. You know, he's in hiding because we saw later on that week he couldn't even get to Marchand Dessalines. But he came out of hiding that day, spoke, totally destroyed the calm. But he decided to be provocative. That's the term I've been using in my articles. I call it a very provocative speech. Most all his speeches at this point, just his at this point, Haitians they cannot stand to hear him or see him. They need him gone because they know what he's done. And Jean Monod was talking yesterday. He said it's to the point where you'll see if people start moving around and start doing something and they hear the president's voice on the radio, he's giving a declaration, people start heading home because they know this ain't going to go well. Because there's a lot of people that are hurting out there and cannot hear. They cannot hear him. So that's that's where he's at, and he decided to go out on this Tuesday and talk, and it was a talk that destroyed. It is a talk that destroyed the commission he had set up to dialogue with the opposition because four members resigned. All of them were like from the PHTK Tech Kale camp, but four of them possibly. I don't trust them either, but those four would have possibly been able to broker a deal. They resigned. So that's what this speech was able to do. But he attacked two businessmen during that speech. He attacked Reginald Boulos and Dimitri Vorbe. And I can't remember, did he do it? He didn't do it by name, but he basically discussed their business and their affairs that they have with the state, and yeah, and both of these businessmen were targeted in this speech, and it was unfortunate. Let me show you some pictures. Here's some pictures. Uh, yeah, he attacked Vorbe over here and Boulos over here. And you can see Rosemont Jean, the comedian, is going after them as well. And since then, he has been putting out press notes, having his institutions put out press notes. Like I think a day later, BMPod wrote a letter, made it public. That was the only point to make it public. That Sojourner, Vorbe's company, this gentleman here, Sojourner had owed BMPad, upwards almost $200 million for oil products. And when I first heard it, I was like, most people, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, look at this, Barry Volet. That's, they call him a thief. And we're going to get into that more. Like, most people are going to be like, oh, yeah, that's what it is. The government's giving these. Get out of here. The government ain't giving nobody money. The Haitian government is not just freely giving anybody that kind of money. What we can say is if there are unfair deals going on, yeah, but there's not going to be unfair deals just off the personality of the person. Like Vorbe, Boulos, Apa, these people aren't going to just get deals just because oh, the government likes the way their nose is shaped. It's not going to be that. It's going to be because they already have some money. And if you want to argue about that, these people, they came from the Middle East like 100 years ago. They exploited a very bad situation with you know um, with the U.S. occupation and used their money to establish their wealth in the country, and now they just yeah. If you want to talk about that, you have a little point there, but that doesn't mean they're not Haitian though. Because understand, they now it's generations later, and we can't be looking at that and saying they're not Haitian. They are Haitian at this point. Just like the Dominicans in the Dominican Republic of Haitian origin, these are Haitians of Middle East origin. All right, so that's what we have now. And no, so really the only so that's what's going on. But I you won't find any articles about what's going on with this whole situation on the Haiti Sentinel, because quite frankly, um, the main reason, the number one reason is to me it's not important. Now, if I had like a editor over the money, the business and money portion of the Sentinel, um, that would be important to them. But since I have to look at things very globally, not just business, but just politics, what's going on with the community, crime, sports, fashion, like all those different types of things. You see me, I sign off on a lot of those types of stories. Um, this is not up there with me. The story of what's going on because the reason why it's not up there because whatever the issue is, it's firstly a distraction by the president. The president is simply trying to distract. And even if there were to be found something is untoward in these contracts or there's some money that can be recouped, this is not the government I would be wanting to give it to. We would be better off, like let's say if he really did owe, because he doesn't actually owe. See, well let me get that point out of the way. When they talking about he owes 200 something, I said no. First of all, the Haitian government ain't fronting nobody 200 something $1 million. Not this Haitian government. Those greedy fools would have taken it for themselves before it just they just let somebody a private citizen go into that kind of debt. That's ridiculous. What the situation actually is EDH, the electricity company, owes Vorbe a substantial amount of money, and it looks like Petrocaribe possibly helped to satisfy those debts. I mean, this is all purely speculation because, like I said, I'm not getting into it. But the point of the matter is, contractually, he is owed more money from the state through another institution. So what we have here is we have a government that's attacking an individual company, attacking a private citizen, persecuting them, and it's just not right. And that is a bigger problem than whatever we can find, because there's a way things got to be done. If there's an issue, I want to see it in justice. It's not for the government to sit there and isolate somebody. If there's an issue, you get yourself a grand jury, you bring about charges, an indictment, and you start bringing people to jail, or you actually go through with a actual lawsuit. And it's not going to be the president or the ministries talking about it. It's going to be people from the judiciary talking about it if they should. Maybe the prosecutor's office talking about it. That's what we're going to see. We're not going to see, and it's not going to be in the press all messy like this. This is messy. There's going to be a way that information is going to be get out about it, if it's to get out. If it's to get out. So that's the bigger problem to me. What if there's any money to be recouped? This is not the government to be getting it, because this government's on its way out. If they're trying to collect money, it's so that they can have a nice parachute, whatever they call it, golden parachute, on their way out. Jovenel already, because he thought he was going to get kicked out in February, that's why he brought the mercenaries in the country, to try to make sure he stashed some money over to the side. But yet, I still see Haitians out there, wanting to applaud these things that the government is doing here at this hour. They want to applaud these things. There's nothing to applaud in this. If we properly refound the country, these things will be addressed in the right way that they should. The reason why a businessman is able to gain such incentive over the Haitian government, the reason why a U.S. diplomat or a foreign diplomat is able to gain such influence over the Haitian government, over our government, is because we don't have a strong union. I've grown up to look past the corruption. I've grown up to look past the idea that Haitians just have a bad faith and bad heart and want to do their countrymen wrong. I don't believe that of the people in government anymore. I've gone past that. I realize there's systematic issues that puts them in a position. Some of it is lack of education, but there's also systematic structural problems that put them in a position where they do wrong. I wrote a piece last night. It's called "The Haiti and the Opposition Will Fail If They Do Not Establish a Delegate System." This delegate system is about a federal system, which is the second part of this series. This is the third part that you're listening to here that I'm doing, called 10 and 10. If we don't strengthen our union, that is why now we're having a political problem, and truly it seems like we need the U.S. or we need somebody from the outside to come in and decide for us what's what, because we don't have a strong union. We haven't established the wide-ranging institutions that can address internal problems. And now we're in a situation where, even when they get the president to resign, the opposition will have much difficulty trying to continue to prove themselves legitimate. And I addressed that in the piece that I wrote yesterday, and it's going to be in the reference in the description of this video. How they can prove their legitimacy is only with a delegate system, is only by establishing a federal system. If they don't do that, we're going to be back here in a few years. We're going to be back here in 30 years. Again. And you're going to have knuckleheads thinking a Duvalier is the solution. A dictatorship is the solution. Idiots. So this is part of 10 and 10. And 10 and 10 is part three. The first part was education. But like I said in part number two, which is on federalization, I felt number two should have been part one and number one should have been part two. Because the federalization is the most important is the most important item in all the 10 because it's the foundation. This part three is about nationalization. Nationalize it. Like the way one of the Marleys used to say, legalize it. I say, nationalize it. Nationalize it. Yeah, and some people not going to like to hear that. But when you have distressed industries, the government has to nationalize it in order to save it at times. So when you have budding industries, industries that need to be grown, the government has to nationalize it in order to help it grow. That is why government exists, to help us help ourselves. The private sector is not going to do it. And if it were, then we wouldn't have an electricity power problem in Haiti. There's a lot of problems we wouldn't have in Haiti because Haiti is capitalism run amok. Haiti is more capitalistic than the United States. Haiti has more so-called private business owners or entrepreneurs than the United States. I mean, per percentage wise. But we have an issue with scaling. We have an issue of monopolies. We have an issues of industries that aren't set up in a way yet that they can actually benefit the businesses within them. We have tons of issues. But nationalizing it is what I would like to see in the next 10 years. Agriculture, no question, needs to be nationalized. But so does electricity. And I would even say the infrastructure. It should not be companies from the Dominican Republic, companies from China, Taiwan, or wherever, coming in to build our roads and stuff. Nationalize it. Put the state funds towards it, towards training. Take the and nationalizing can work towards the benefit of private business as well. Because take the Vorbe situation. If they have invested in infrastructure, if they have assets of their company that the state would need, they get paid for it. The state's gonna, excuse me, the state's gonna rent it from them. Definitely at a lower rate. And it should only be nationalized for a short period of time till the industry is up and running and able to go private again. Because I do believe things are better in private hands. I do believe it's better for the economy. But we have a distressed industry. I am not one of the people that believe, nationalizing, no way by all means, because that doesn't work. That doesn't work. We have all these private businesses, but they can't scale in Haiti. They can't scale because there's not that type of support. There's not that type of public support to allow them to scale. So it should be for a period of a decade. For example, electricity is nationalized. All the private companies, whatever assets, whatever infrastructure they have, they they are gonna rent it out or sell it off to the government. The government's going to take over that whole entire industry as far as getting paid and getting a system for getting paid, a system for returning. Because even the laws have to begin to understand how to even charge people. Because right now, when it comes, these power companies aren't really being paid by Haitian citizens. They're being paid by Haitian businesses to a certain degree, but the average Haitian citizen isn't even paying the private company. We need to understand how we can get payment from the masses, and that's something that's going to benefit the private companies. We need to understand, and government can figure that out once it owns all of them. Once it owns all of them, it can say, okay, all right, so maybe we can add a little bit of tax here, a little bit of tax there, or maybe we can base paying on this type of usage. You know, these things can be figured out. These massive things. I don't think government can figure out everything, but it definitely can get it at least to a base level where private can take over and make it better. Same thing with agriculture. You know, we do have private agriculture companies, like they got guys doing coffee, they have guys doing legumes, and a bunch of stuff throughout the country. Agriculture is not dead in Haiti. It's just not. It's just not consequential at all, because it's not. There's too much going on. There's overlapping of businesses. There's overlapping of needs. There's there's not enough care for the soil. There's not proper zoning. There's not support. The government needs to nationalize agriculture, set up major plantations, set up an understanding of what kind of crops can grow at what time, what kind of crops can grow in what places best, what type of practices to use for our particular environment that can also protect our environment, and that includes fisheries as well, the fishing industry. Nationalize it, pay people. They'll be state workers for a while until we get it into a point where it's an industry that can feed our people. And then after that, you put it in the hand of private business. And I think the businesses that you initially take it for, like for example, if we take power from the electricity from E-Power and from Haytrack and Sojourner, if we take their companies, a decade from now, when the nationalizing it is over, they should have first right of refusal to buying into it. And if there can be a way that their interest is saved so that they don't have to spend money or an exorbitant amount of money to be able to buy into the industry again, that would be good. It also served to break up the monopolies. Oh, some people don't want to hear that. Yeah, this is how the monopolies were able to exist in the first place in Haiti. You know, and when I say monopolies, we're not talking about, because when you think of monopoly, you think of somebody that's a huge juggernaut in an industry, and it's not that all the time. Sometimes it's just somebody who just has just so much weight over everything that no one else can even just get into the industry. There's just not going to be any way. You know, we could look at the ports, we could look at the ports industry, the energy industry. We could look at a bunch of these things, the shipping, the there are a bunch of these areas where, you know, it should be looked at. But you can't, but we're in a bad cycle now. We're in a bad cycle where we need these few business owners, and we have to give them an arm and a leg in order to keep them. It's a bad cycle, and we're scared to we've been scared to nationalize things since Duvalier, because Duvalier, that was his whole thing, to make sure communism doesn't reach Haiti, and an irrational fear of communism is what he had, and it's been the U.S. Point in Haiti. Like, I read it in the resolutions taken in the House and in the Senate. They always mention that they want Haiti to be more open for free markets. How much more open does Haiti need to be? Because right now it's a free for all, and it's not helping the country at all. It's a free for all. Please don't think for a second. The only restrictions that Haiti has is that the people ain't gonna put up for. And with that being said, like, because I know a lot of business owners in Haiti, and we're in groups, we talk, and what I don't understand is, you don't. There is a extreme disparity in Haiti, which means a large number of the population have absolutely nothing, while a small group has a whole lot. And you don't do anything to address that. You don't address the government. You don't want people out there protesting. You don't want people like me writing about what's going on. You want me to put a good face on everything, but then when you riding in your car and somebody sticks you up for everything you have because they don't have nothing to eat and don't really care to pull the trigger, they're the animals. They're the one that's wrong. No, they're trying to survive. Like, and that's why I did my story on the company Bunge when they got hit during that protest. Look, I like what the brothers were doing over there. I love their company. But at the end of the day, you are operating in this type of an environment, and you can't, and to think that this ain't going to happen, you tripping. And blame, to blame the people for it. That's the one, that's the part that really tripped me out, because I don't blame the people. I don't care. Hate me if you want. Don't listen to me. Don't like me. Consider me an animal as well. But I don't blame them. I feel for them, because I've been down to Haiti. I've rode the streets where I can't even put my window down because it smelled like dog piss and whatnot. I've been up in Petroville in homes where, I go up there and I'm like, damn, this is a nice big house, but we got to spend the night in the dark because, my homie, I think he said he had just purchased a home, and he had purchased it like a while ago. The power company hadn't hooked him up yet. I think 2-3 months had gone by. Um, yeah, he had to get a generator. Beautiful home too, and that's nothing to speak of all the other people that don't live in such pricey neighborhoods. That's the way they gotta live. That's the way they gotta. That's a concern that they have when they should not. You see the trash. You see they burnt through about $2 billion. Like, close to $2 billion was burnt through that could have gone so far. There could have been better management of the country. These guys are coming into office with the opportunity of a lifetime to really take something that's down here and put it up here, and they're squandering it. And then you want to blame the people when they speak out against it. You want to blame the people when they're trying to survive. Jobs. Ain't no jobs. Ain't no jobs. Everybody's their own business. That's the type of economy we have. If they do bring a job, it's a sweatshop, you know, and that's it. If there is some tourism job, it's it's what you doing? You folding blankets? Like people keep thinking tourism is gonna bring. I've worked in the hospitality industry. It's not that type of situation where it's like you're working down on Wall Street or something. You get pittance working in the hospitality industry. You have a few, like I did the books. You have a few in the accounting office, secretaries and stuff that might get a little bit, but even doing the books, you don't get paid. You know, a serious, like where you could actually take care of a family off of it. You're gonna struggle. So yeah, that's number three, man. Nationalize it. And the point, and this 10 and 10, basically, a decade ago, October 30, 2009, I launched Defend Haiti. I said what I wanted to see from Haitian people. I said that I wanted to see a bigger presence of politicians on social media. I said that I wanted to see news putting more content on the web. I said I wanted to see more a diversity of news agencies, and my whole practice, the way that I write, is to promote others' content, always linking back to them. Translate it, give you a brief, but always try to let you know where those sources are, where you could go to get this content. And in a decade, we have just a flourishing ecosystem of information online, personalities online, and it's amazing. So from now, I'm saying I'm doing a 10 and 10 on the anniversary of the 10-year anniversary of Defend Haiti, and I'm hoping that these 10 things that I speak on in a decade from now, they would have happened. Because if they would have happened, we are going to be. Haiti has such an opportunity, man. Because when you look at countries like Jamaica, Bahamas, and stuff, they're really not free. They're under the thumb of the crown in England. They're not free. That's why they have prime ministers. And one of the things is going to be about getting rid of this prime minister business in Haiti, because we don't need it. We're a free country. We're a sovereign nation. But yeah, like we have an opportunity to do great things. We're well located. I mean, no one can compare to what we have the opportunity to do. And we're black. Come on, man. It's a beautiful thing, a beautiful opportunity. And I always tell people, man, you know, uh, considering incarnation and all that stuff, if I were to die, don't bring me back as no European. I don't want to come back as a European. I don't want to come back as no Nigerian, Egyptian, American, white American, black American, Canadian, none of that. No matter how they living. Bring me back as a Haitian, man. Because the opportunities we have to really do something great, the greatness that we've done in the past, I mean, that's what I would want. That's all I want to be. All right, so that's it, man. I already know after I get off, I'm gonna realize there was something I should have added, something I didn't say. Um, so I can't even think of it right now. So that's whatever. But yeah. Either way, I love you guys. Um, definitely like the video, subscribe if you haven't, and I want to hear your feedback on this nationalizing it, nationalizing distressed industries. That's my point is, you know. Oh, yeah, I wanted to make the point about the US did it recently when it came to the internet. That's how they allowed the internet to grow, how they allowed different compiling languages from up to 5G to be developed. There had to be a nationalization of these industries. You know, most of the auto manufacturers in the U.S., it was during the World War that they really, really were able to grow because the U.S. government had to take over those factories in order to build tanks, in order to build warplanes and machinery like that. And that was an investment into those large manufacturers. So it's not anything new. You know, they want you to think that, oh, it's the boogeyman to nationalize something, but it's not. It's not, people. So, all right. Now I can go. Love you all. Goodbye. Peace.